The Foreign Minister Bob Carr is preparing to speak to journalists. He's had a very busy and unexpectedly busy night because he has been deputising for the Prime Minister. In fact, he's speaking now. Let's take you there.
Quite wobbly. I mean, if there's any way Julia could have got up and given a good solid speech, she would have done it. But when you get one of those stomach bugs, you run the risk of... You run a real risk. You shouldn't be struggling to your feet. So, I mean, if she had a way, I think she would have been inclined to have gone out there in front and taken a risk. But all our advice to her was stay in bed and recover.
It's not a great way to start the week for her, is it? All for the Security Council.
Well, Julia Gillard did not want to be sick and be taken away from this task. She, more than anyone, would have wanted to have had a hand in this battle. She took the wiser course, all things considered.
What's this meant for your schedule today? Have you had to change things around much, and what sort of meetings have you been at?
I've had meetings with a total of 8 foreign ministers, touching base with them about bilateral issues, but also raising our candidacy for the Security Council. Most of them were people who'd committed to us, and it was nice to have that commitment confirmed. And in some cases there was a reciprocal commitment from us. We'd supported them on various things. We were able to underline that. Again, this is only a small part of the 193 nation-state membership of the United Nations. So it's we feel it's going to be close.
Have you had time to dwell on Tony Abbott's comments of yesterday that perhaps Julia Gillard certainly and yourself shouldn't be here on this Security Council bid? I
have dwelt on it as I've gone around meeting people, and I've met leaders of African nations who've got big Australian investments. In Australia, Tony Abbott laughs at us because we talk to Africa. There is $70 billion of Australian money invested in African mines. Mines that are functioning or mines that are being built. That's a big Australian interest because the Australian mining boom has spilled over into Africa. And he's saying we're wasting time talking to Africa. Well, this is all about money flowing into Australian companies and then being able to do more in Australia because of investments that are working and making profits for them in Africa. Now, what Tony Abbott is reflecting here is a view of Australia's place in the world. Tony Abbott would be very happy with Australia beating a retreat to the Anglosphere. Now, we've got excellent relations with Canada, the United States, the United Kingdom, New Zealand, but he wants to confine us to those relationships. He doesn't like the idea. He's got a bit of the John Howard in him. He's not entirely comfortable with Australia speaking to Africa, the Caribbean, Latin America, or to Asia. He revealed his ill-preparedness yesterday when he said the Prime Minister should be talking to President Yodi Ono, not going to New York. Well, President Yodi Ono was arriving in New York on the same day as our Prime Minister. I'll be going to a dinner to honour him tonight here in New York.
Senator, I'm sure you'll be looking forward to the moment Tony Abbott will get to see those pictures broadcast of you and the Indonesian President later tonight.
I hope he does. The pictures will tell the story that President Yodi Ono is here in New York, where our Prime Minister is, representing the interests of his country as we're representing the interests of ours.
You say he's too focused on the Anglosphere. President Yodi Ono is not from the Anglosphere as you describe it. He was making the point that he wants Australia to engage with the region.
I know, but Tony Abbott in his books and in his reflections keeps retreating to the notion of the Anglosphere. And in saying that we shouldn't be here talking to African nations, he's reflecting that.
Your colleague Wayne Swan made a few comments about Republicans in the United States recently talked about them being cranks and crazies. Have you had anyone raise that with you? And does it sit comfortably with you given you're now here in the United States and you're going to be meeting some of your American colleagues?
Well, I work with both sides of American politics. I've had Kim Beazley attend the Republican as well as the Democratic convention. Talking to people who are advising the Republicans